So I brought you guys the story of a prophet in Ondo State. Ondo State is in the southwestern part of Nigeria, and this prophet became much more popular, not for a good thing, but for a very bad one. Accusations, allegations over a missing 1 year old boy in the church. And the parents of this boy are members of this church, and they claim that they only been in the church for about 6 to 7 months or thereabout. And the woman claimed that she took the child into the children's section because they claimed that she had to do so. Children, they cry, they need attention during church services. So the woman, of course, did what she was asked to do. After a little bit of push here and there, she took the child to the children's church. And lo and behold, she said she went there several times and she realized that the child wasn't in the position, and the child was eating certain food that, snacks that she actually didn't give to the child. And she told them, do not give my child what I have not brought from home. So, well, people thought this would have, ended. Probably they would have found the child and something like that. But unfortunately, that is not the case, as this has gone awry. Ondo missing child. The pastor goes on hunger strike, and he has ever since been collapsing in prison. This man was interviewed, and he claimed that there are some evil people out there that are planning his own downfall, and he said no one will go unpunished and that this is his own time to rise. This is not the first time that a cleric will be accused of this and go to prison. TB Joshua was also, he was embroiled in some drug issues. Some people claim that he was their spiritual father. He prays for them, and they go on the drug job and bring back money they give to him and all of that. If he is involved or not, I wouldn't know. That was during the period of Sani Abacha. And Sani Abacha realized that TB Joshua had spiritual gifts, as he could see certain things for them in prison. And afterwards, Sani Abacha started requesting for the presence of TB Joshua, back and forth. And there's a story out there that he went in and out with, praying for Sani Abacha. But eventually, we know what happened. Sani Abacha eventually died. So we don't know if that's going to be the case of this prophet, if he's being persecuted for nothing. But then, what we need to know is, where is this child? Is this a setup by the parents? Would they want to do this kind of thing? Is there a bigger conspiracy, or this pastor is actually involved in the disappearance of this little boy? We don't know what these things are, and we are watching very closely. There was a time they claimed that the corpse of the boy was found in the altar of the church, and a lot of people went there angry. They broke into the church and they did a lot of, what it is, jungle justice. They went to the man's house, they pillaged the house, they broke down all of his properties, and this man kept claiming that he knows nothing about the child. But then, what I do not understand is this: if he is a spiritualist or a prophet, how come it is so difficult for him to see in the realms of the spirit? If they can call people's number, call your problems and all of that, how come he cannot track where the child is? These are mysteries that we oftentimes see. It's like on TV, they can actually say a lot of things, they can perform certain things, but on certain cases that are very crucial like this, it's quite unfortunate that these things kind of play itself in a way. Well, we don't know how the world works sometimes, but what we know is when the pain strikes us, like in the case of this child that is missing. Obviously, if this child is truly missing, and it is connected to the church or to some members in that church or to the prophet in that church, then we don't know. You know how it is. It will be so painful to the mom. And if the man does not know anything about this and is going through all of this, it will be a very terrible and painful thing to him too. So is it that the child was kidnapped and sold to another parent that need a child, or was this child used for ritual? So if you're conversant with the story of this prophet, Alpha Babatunde, that is his name, is the founder and general overseer of Sotitobire Miracle Center, located somewhere in Ondo State, Akure precisely. Here is a fresh new gist about what is happening. The clergyman, who was remanded in prison by a magistrate court sitting in Oke, Eda, Akure, till January 14, has allegedly refused to eat since he had been locked up at the Kuta Correctional Center. This man was also arrested with certain other people that are members of this church. I brought you guys the story. You saw some women, they weren't properly dressed, And I don't know if it's a practice there anyway in Ondo State. They were kind of praying and saying, people, anyone that is against you and all of that. And but eventually he was arrested as the SSS came into this because they claimed that the police weren't arresting anyone in that environment because he has been paying them. That's a story. But it's not today that we know that clerics try to bribe journalists or give police officers certain amount of money to keep them in check. It was said to have collapsed on various occasions due to hunger strike, ill health, and he was taken to the prison clinic several times. An official of the State Correctional Center, Olokuta Correctional Center, who pleaded anonymity, disclosed this in a chat with journalists, saying the pastor is really sick. It is true the pastor is sick. He had collapsed more than 3 times in the last 1 week. I was taken to the prison clinic for a medical attention. He has also refused to eat any food brought to him. If you could also recall another one, a bearded prophet or pastor. In fact, it's not even, he has all the titles. He calls himself a doctor, doctor, prophet, pastor, evangelist, bishop, archbishop, pope, whatever. He is from the eastern part of Nigeria, but his church is located in Lagos State. There, somewhere in Lagos State, he calls himself Reverend King. If you've heard about Reverend King also landed in Nigeria somewhere. He's a Nigerian, but I think he was outside, probably in Brazil or somewhere, as from the story that I heard. When he left Nigeria, when he was in his university days, I think something happened there. Then he came back. So when he landed with this spiritual ability. I haven't seen him perform like the rest of them, but then he has his own followers and they have their hair shaved, bald, and they keep their beards. That's the package that you see. He's the same person that I heard that beats up his members, if phone rings in the church, and all of that. And all these things are happening in this our present world. So he sets his members on fire, and certain things became too much for him to keep under his own roof, and he was definitely arrested. He was taken to court. Some claim that is their Jesus Christ. Whatever he is, this is not the first time that people claim that they are Jesus Christ, Jesus of Oyinbo, Jesus of whatever. Anybody can be anything that they wish to be. But when the long arm of the law caught him, he is still in jail. But there have been a lot of clamoring here and there, begging Lagos State, saying this and that he shouldn't be hanged. As you know, death penalty is still effective in Nigeria for cases where people kill people just such as what he has done. So till date, he has been finding ways to probably bribe or somehow, because his church is not as big as it. The population is not as big as it was before. But at least he has offerings and tithes and some other donations coming to him from his members, and probably used that to be able to keep things together. So I don't know the case of this man, if he's ever going to be vindicated, or if anything's going to be coming out to show that he's not involved. So they said he has refused to eat. He's on hunger strike. And they said he's always wearing a mournful morning look since he got here. We have shaved his head and beards, and it's obvious he was not happy about that. Recall that Prophet Babatunde Alpha, he said Alpha is their own name, not Alpha like the Muslim, whatever. He said that is their name. Was arrested by men of the Department of State Security Service, like I said, whisked to Abuja following the disappearance of a 1-year-old boy in his church in the children's section, which he claimed that he wasn't involved. It was in the it was on the altar. He was praying, he was preaching and all of that. And how could he have been involved with the child that got missing in the children's section? But then the woman came up with something about this Kolawole Gold. That is the name of the young boy that disappeared on November 10th, 2019. This young boy disappeared, and the mom claimed that when I went back to the children's section to check my child, then I saw a woman, the child wasn't placed properly, so I told the lady there, no, don't give my child this and that. But then there is something that she said that is notable, and I think most of these church services are recorded. So if they are recorded, cameras are recording these things, how come they cannot get into the archives and see some of the few cameras to see? She claimed that the prophet or the pastor said everyone should close their eyes. Anyone that doesn't close her eyes or his eyes in that period of time that they were going to pray a very long 30 minutes prayer, or is it 15 minutes, the person is going to die and they will not see the next year. You know, all these people come with some strong words that they use in, you know, when you believe so much in them, you see so much things that they've done. So when they say kind of word, you think, wow, I'm going to die tomorrow. So that's what she said. She said the prophet said anyone that opens his or her eye is going to die and not see next year or something like that. And she had to close her eyes. She said that 30 minutes that she closed her eyes, well, you know, it's often like a practice in churches. They'll say, close your eyes. Don't let the demon get inside of you. And she did close her eyes. And after the prayers, she said she went back there, and all of a sudden she realized that many of the people that were in charge of children, almost 90% of them are no longer there any longer, and a child is missing. That is how the story came in. So this incident took another turn on December 10 when people invaded the church and they set the church ablaze. The prophet, who was charged for kidnapping, conspiracy, and felony, has been remanded in prison alongside 6 other members of the church, while the case has been adjourned to January 14. So we'll see how these things turn out to be. We'll see how it turns out to be. If we are going to get new update and story, some claim that it confessed, but we need to see that on tape. So guys, that is what it is for now. If you're not a member of this channel, let us grow it together by you simply tapping on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell below. It will alert you whenever our videos are uploaded. Thanks for stopping by.